Guys, it's Tina and I am back and I am here with my 2015 favorites video. Yes! One more time for the seats in the back. Now I know technically I am late this year. I was late last year as well, and a lot of people have been like, yo, what a favorite today? What happened? Where are the favorites? We are waiting. And I know you guys don't mind that I take a little bit longer than usual, as long as I do actually come to you guys with the video, I promise. So here I am, and hopefully you will forgive my tardiness. It is just the typical me this time of year. Like, it takes me a little bit to get back into the swing of things. I have to enjoy the festivities of the holidays and my birthday and all that stuff. So I take time off, and I am here though. I am back and I am ready to jump into the favorites. And I am the type of person that I have to prepare my list and check it twice. I am that person. So I already have everything written down here, and I didn't put them out in front of me, so hopefully I don't go scrambling back and forth too much, because most of the products that I'm in love with or I've been in love with are right here within arm's reach. So let's jump into it. I think we're gonna go ahead and start with some basics, and I know most of these products will not be a surprise to you. If you watch my videos consistently, you know what products I love. You know what products I reach for all the time. So a lot of these will not be a surprise at all. Now, in the eyeshadow primer / base category, people use those terms interchangeably here on YouTube, even though they're technically two different things and different products might fall into both, but technically they can be separate products. Anyway, not getting into that, I have two different products here, or two different brands. The first one is my MAC Preppin Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. I love this guy, and I discovered it in 2015. I think MAC even released it in 2015, if I'm not incorrect. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Don't tell me if I'm wrong. This guy is $22, and it has 0.5 ounce of product, and it applies sheerly. So you just apply this to your lid. It's going to help prevent creasing, and I have very oily lids. Alright, let's talk about it. Oily, oily, oily. And this 24-hour, like, typically when I hear 24-hour, I'm like, shut up. Ain't nobody wearing that for 24 hours, first of all. And you're lying, because it's not going to last 24 hours. But this really does hold onto your eyeshadows for a really long time. And if you sleep in your makeup, your eyeshadow will still be relatively intact, depending on how you sleep. Because I sleep on my face and do this, so I'm all over the place. So this is really, really good. And then we have the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer. You see that 24-hour thing? That's what they're going with. But both of them have a similar texture. They're very thin. They apply like a little primer layer. You know when you paint your walls and you put that primer down? A nice thin layer. And they're not tacky. So they have a it's not powdery, but it's a flat finish. So it's not going to cling to eyeshadows, in that it's not going to cling and make it patchy in certain areas. They just apply really well, stick to the lids, and I love both of these. And this guy is $20, and there is 0.41 ounce in here. So this one is a little bit more pricey, but it has more products. So to me, they're interchangeable. They do the same thing. They're really, really good. So it depends on whichever one you want to pick up. As far as eyeshadow bases, which tend to be a little bit different from primers in that they have an actual color to them, and they're used to intensify your eyeshadow color payoff or pigmentation, my top picks would be the Pro Longwear Paint Pot from MAC in the shade Laying Low. So any of their paint pots work really well, but I like a skin tone shade. The Laying Low one works really well, and what I like about this is that it cancels out discoloration on your lids, any veins you may have standing out, and it works well on deeper skin tone and deep tan skin tone. But what really brings it home for me is that this does not change the color or darken up the color of my eyeshadows. So if I apply like a blend-in transition shade that's my complexion, sometimes a base can deepen it up and it's gonna look darker, and I'm like, wait, what? Or if I apply a lighter color, like I love bright, bold, intense, in-your-face, colorful looks, this doesn't darken up the shades, and it doesn't make them look splotchy or just weird. It doesn't interact or interfere with the color payoff and how the color actually appears on my lids. So I love that. And then I discovered the Remmel London Scandalised eyeshadow stick crayons. And this guy is really inexpensive. There are various shades on the market, but I'm going for a neutral matte shade. This one is the shade Trespassing Taupe, which is shade number 15. And this is $4.49 and it's 0.11 ounce. So it's a nice, easy way to apply an eyeshadow base. It's a neutral taupey shade. Apply it to your lids, blend it out. It's great for neutral looks. It blends out really nice. It does not crease, which is key for me. I don't need creasing, all right? I don't need all of that. This guy doesn't crease. It stays put. Is it waterproof? Did they say? Yeah, they say it's waterproof. So if he's gonna take you swimming on the first date, tell him, hey, my shit is waterproof. Boo, boo. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump into brow products. And I'm sure you guys can probably guess what brow products I love and have been loving. Or can you? Because it changed for me in 2015. Like, the game changed for me a bit. And my favorite, like my overall favorite brow product from 2015 were the brow beater pencils from Urban Decay. And I have loved Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz forever and a day, like forever. That's like my go-to. But somehow the brow beater just came in and just took over. It took the place. And I mentioned it in other videos, like I love Brow Wiz and I love this and the shade is nice and it's the same price, but this one has less product. And I really thought about it and I find myself reaching for the brow beater a lot more than the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. Which is saying a lot. What? Yes, I am so serious. This shade is neutral brown. And let me tell you, it does such a great job of giving me natural defined brows, but without being overwhelming or too crazy in color. And I just love it so much. I still love the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, but I find myself reaching for this a whole lot more. And this guy is $20. There are 4 shades available and it is 0.001 ounce. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz is also $20, but it's 0.003. So you get 3 times the amount of product, but I love this so much more. The Anastasia Beverly Hills, no, that's $21 actually. This is $1 cheaper. As far as brow powder, you know, it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duos. There's nothing on the market that's gonna take me away from this. Like, I have not found any powders that have the ashy undertone that I want or need in a dark brown. Like, I need dark brown. The shade that I use is Ebony, the Duo. And I even mix the dark and the light side. And I use it with my Polidore Eye Definer brush. I love this brush too. It's just my perfect brow brush, and they used to be available at ULTA stores, but now you can find it online at pauladorf.com. But it's just a flat topped, really dense brush, and it's stiff enough to just work product through my brows. And it hasn't fallen apart. I have 2 of them, and I've been using these, I guarantee you, for at least 5 years now, and it's just so intact and awesome. But the Brow Powder Duo, there are various shades for you to find. There are 11 shades. This is $23 and it's 0.03 ounces. And I've been using these this one specifically for a couple of years, and I haven't even, I have a dip in it, but I haven't even ran out of it. So that goes to show you, it goes a long way. It's well worth the price. Now let's move away from the eyes and talk a little bit about some face products, specifically concealers. Now, I don't usually use concealer the same way other people do. Like, they use concealer under their eyes, up in their forehead, all over the place to highlight and do all that, which is not the intent of concealer really. Concealer is meant to cover up imperfections, let's be honest. And then under eye concealers, yeah, you do use it for under eye concealing and to brighten up. But my concealer, I use concealer for beneath my brows, to clean up any stray hairs, to cover them, to add a highlight, and then also under my eyes, just in this area, like on the inner part of my under eyes, to cover up some of my darkness, because I get dark. And the concealer that took the cake for me this year were the Bright Future Gel Serum Concealers from the Sephora brand. Now, people have been sleeping on Sephora and their collection for the longest. They actually have really decent products in their brand lineup, so check them out. Some of the products are like, eh, but some of them are really freaking good. And the shades that I have, they have a bunch of shades, and they're $14 each and contain 0.14 ounces. Now I have the shades 13, which is cream caramel, and toffee, which is number 14, and these match me beautifully. The caramel shade is a little bit lighter, so as I said, for a highlight under my brows and to brighten up under my eyes. And then the toffee is like my exact complexion. So if I have a little bit of, you know, a little blemish situation, I can place that on it, or I can mix the two together to get a more skin tone finish. But I love these. They apply beautifully. They're creamy enough to apply and blend nicely, but they're not overly creamy where they crease and get crazy and I have to set them down with crazy stuff. They actually set down to like a natural powder finish. I love these. I tell you now to go try these out. And I've heard people mention them, but mention they don't like the applicator. It is a rounded doe foot. So it's a little like a daughter, and when I hear people talk about it and say they don't like it because it doesn't apply as much product as they want, I'm like, because it's not supposed to. It's concealer. You're supposed to use it sparingly. So if you have a pimple or a spot, you can actually really apply this quite effectively in very precise areas. So I love the applicator for that reason. Like, it's not too much product. And then you can swipe it under your brows or just swipe it. Like, you shouldn't be caking on concealer. Let's be real. You shouldn't be caking on the freaking concealer because that's not what it's for. You know what I mean? So I love the applicator. If you want to use more of the product, then feel free. You just have to dip a few more times. But for me, the applicator is actually one of the best parts of the product itself. Now, keeping with the basics, let's talk about some face primers. And I have a couple that I really love this year, and some of them just took me just by surprise. The first one up is my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. Now this guy is a multi-purpose product for me. Just bear with me here. It's great for actually prepping the skin for makeup. So if you have oily skin, for instance, I don't like to always apply moisturizer because I get greasy, and applying like a creamy product than my foundation, it just gets too greasy and too oily too quick. With this guy, I get hydration. It's alcohol free, oil free, and silicone free. So I'm not getting that slippery silicone feel that you can get from other primers. This guy actually just sets, I'm thinking it has glycerin, but I have to double check. I'm not sure if it has glycerin in it, but it does help your products to stick to the skin while adding some hydration for like oily skin. So I love that. But I also use it for my eyeshadows. And instead of using Fix Plus, which I feel can get a little bit too wet, and I know it sounds funny, it's like this water and this is water. This one is not as wet, or it dries down quicker, even though it doesn't have alcohol in it. So it's perfect for using on the eyes. So you dampen a brush and use it to apply your eyeshadows, your pigments. It helps to prime the lids. It helps the eyeshadows to stay in place. It helps like loose pigment to stay in place without falling all over the place. And you can also use it to set to remove the powdery finish from your makeup. It's not a setting spray. Like, it's not gonna help your makeup last longer, but it adds this hydrating mist that can really take away the powdery makeup-y look of powder foundation. So I love this guy. I have a travel size. I have a back, like this guy, I think anybody should get the little travel size one, which is $15, and just try it. Just try it out. $15 is not killing you, although I know it's still pricey, but you can try it out for $15. If you don't like it, take it back. Not an issue. This guy is $32 and it contains 3.9 ounces. And you see, I've loved this and I've been using it and I'm not even halfway through. So definitely lasts a very long time. And then another primer, like I said, you guys are sleeping on the Sephora collection. Stop sleep on them. Them have nice things. I discovered, and this, thank you to the subscriber that mentioned this to me. She mentioned it in a comment. She was like, you're not gonna try it out? And I said, well, it's the Sephora Beauty Amplifier Pore Perfecting Primer Mist. And because I have this primer water, I was like, oh, a primer mist. I love spray primers. Like, for me, oily skin, the best primers are these spray type primers. I don't know like why, but I just really love this. So this guy is oil free and it has blurring technology. So what you do is you shake it up, shake, 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 and you're supposed to spray it on your skin, but I don't spray it directly on my skin. I spray it on a brush and then tap it over like my T-zone where I really need mattification. Mattification, is that even a word, or is that a makeup word? Not like, not a made up word like a O, but a makeup word. Just, it's mattifying. So if you're oily, try this guy out. I haven't had issues with it clogging. People have mentioned that, but if it clogged, bring it back to Sephora. Their exchange policy is great. So love this guy, especially in the summertime. It was really, really, really on point. Now for actual face primers, that products, well, like that wasn't a face primer, but another brand that came out with face products and face primers that blew me away this season or last year was Makeup Forever. They have their step 1 equalizers, and they came out with a bunch of these. They have, I think there's 6 of them. They have hydrating ones and brightening ones, and they have correctors. So they have a pink, no, that's the brightening one, yeah. But they have, this one is a radiant primer. So this orangey peachy tone is great for dark skin. Like, if you want to get radiant skin, use a peach primer. This one is really good. But the ones that I was really into are the smoothing one, which is the one that I use the most because it smooths out pores, and I have pore issues right here. Like, the situation right now, it not really set up well, but it smooths it without, is it silicone? Like, it doesn't even feel like silicone. Like, it has the effect of silicone without feeling silicone-y. So it might have silicone in it, but the way I mix it up, I make it go on, it not really feel like silicone, if that makes sense. Because silicone gets a little slippery and greasy on my oily skin. But this guy, the smoothing one, it blurs my pores, and I love it so much. And I think this would work for the majority of skin tones and types, except maybe really dry, because it's not dry in, it's not mattifying, it's just smooth in. So I really, really love this. Maybe you can mix this with a hydrating one, but I love this. And then the second one is the mattifying one. This guy is for oily girls. Don't even, if you're not oily, don't even look upon it. Oily girls, listen, get on this. This is so good. Put it in my T-zone. I do not like the Becca mattifying thing because I don't know, it just feels like it does too much. Like, my skin feels too tight with it. This one, even though it mattifies and tightens a bit, it's not as uncomfortable to wear. So yes, Makeup Forever, you did good with these primers, and they have a full range, so you're sure to find one for you. So good job with this Makeup Forever. Now we can talk about, I'm just going all over the place. I'm just going down my list, and I filled out the list as things came to me. We can talk about mascara. I don't think you guys, I don't even have to spend long on this. It's the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara, without question, without a doubt, my favorite mascara of 2015. That was aggressive, and I didn't mean to be that aggressive, but it is my favorite. And if you watch my videos, you see this is the guy that I use. Hands down. It's a little bit pricey. This one is $23 and it has 0.27 ounces, but it lasts a very long time. If you're into volume and fullness and really rich black lashes, this guy is for you. If you're not into that volume, like, I don't get clumpy lashes from it, but it really intensifies my lashes. And you've seen it on camera, and I haven't even worn lashes. Like, in my last few videos, my Get Ready With Me videos, I haven't even worn lashes because this did everything that was necessary for me. And then, of course, my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. Again, if you watch my videos, you know. I don't have to tell you. This guy for the lower lashes, people have raved about this on YouTube, and I'm skeptical about everything. But this guy is, because the brush is so small, brush is the little guy, see it on my forehead? That's what she said. On my forehead, the little brush is really good for grabbing those lower lashes, and it's really black and it separates without clumping them together, and it's just a really good formula. It works also on the upper lashes, but I prefer the Too Faced one for the volume, and you'll see the Too Faced brush right here. Really good mascara. So let's go ahead and talk about some contour products. And I have a few that I fell in love with this year. I have two that are specifically contour products. And the first one up is my Marc Jacobs Insta Mark Light Filtering Contour Product. That's the name of it. And this guy is $49 and it contains 2 different shades, and each of these are 0.31 ounces. So you're getting a lot of product here for the price. And I have a dip in the contour side, not so much in the highlight side, but that is a good color because it's a peachy, like a peachy powder, which is really good for correcting under the eyes for darker skin. But this guy is in the shade High Five Filter, which is number 60. This is the deepest shade, I believe. But this guy is so good for contouring, especially darker skin. I fell in love with this, and the mirror, oh my god, love this guy right here. And then a second one that was a surprise to me was the Becca Low Light Highlight Perfecting Palette Press. So they have a poured one, which is the, like, a really slippery cream. It was just awful. I got that one and I returned it because it sucked. But the pressed one has a contour powder, which I hope they sell this individually. Like, I'm praying that they come out with this as a single, because that contour shade is everything. And then the highlight shade is actually Opal, which is one of my favorite highlighters. So if you're looking for a great highlight shade, it comes in this palette, this little duo as well. But this shade has a nice, beautiful gray on. It's not gray. It's neutral, so it works great for contouring and actually adding shadow to the skin, and it works great on my skin tone without being dirty or dusty or too like green or olivey. It works so good. I love it. And then I discovered another powder later on in the year, about in the summertime. It's the Nars Pressed Powders. Now, this is not specifically a contour powder. It's not marketed as such, but for me, it works so good. Like, you don't understand. It's Valley, the shade Valley, and it's a deep, it's almost like, yeah, it's a neutral tone brown. Or no, I don't know, it's a little bit warm, but because I have warm undertones, it works fine. I use this to to add a shade into my contour area, like my cheekbone, and also in my hairline. I have loved this, and it's so finely milled that it doesn't look cakey or powdery or crazy. And all 3 of these products actually work really well as contours without being overly powdery or stark on the skin. Just beautiful. And I forgot that I had another shade of the powder. I have Heat, which is a little bit, let me see, is it a little bit more, let's see. It's a little bit lighter than Valley. So you see the 2, this is Heat, this is Valley. So if you can see, Valley's a little bit deeper, but Heat, I actually used this today because I'm lightening up in the winter time. So Heat is another great one to check out. I just love these pressed powders for contouring and warming up the skin. Do you guys see this bruise right here? Like, I don't know where it came from, but it hurts. It hurts so bad. Now, since I did contour products, let's talk about powders, because I have a few powders too that really blew me away last year. The first one that I loved, now I set my makeup with powder because I'm oily. I have to set my foundation. I use liquid foundation and then I set it with powder. People might be like, why don't you use powder foundation? I don't know, like, I've just always loved the look of liquid and how it sits on my skin, and then I set it with powder. And I end up using foundation powders a lot just because it gives me added coverage, but it looks so much better on my skin because it's I don't know. Instead of using a finishing powder, I use a foundation powder. And the first one, you can see how much I love this guy. Look, look. I hit pan. When do I hit pan in anything? When? This is the Naked Skin Ultra Definition Powder Foundation in the shade Medium Dark Golden. And they have like weird shade names, but mine is Medium Dark Golden. This is so beautiful. It's finely milled. It gives great coverage. Like, you can use this on its own if you choose, but it looks so good over liquid foundation, and it's so fine that it doesn't look powdery and cakey and crazy. And it's the color, again, that golden undertone works so well on my skin. I just love this so much. I love it. I'm gonna have to tell us I love it. I have my backup, don't worry. This guy is $36 and it's 0.31 ounces. Next up, I have another product from Nars. This is the Soft Velvet Loose Powder in the shade Mountain. Now, A lot of you guys probably don't realize that they have soft, they have loose powders. These are the soft velvet powders, and I think these shades came out, they were new shades that were added to the lineup last year. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it out. Can I tell you how flawless this makes my skin? It's ultra, ultra, ultra fine, and I have fine powders. Like the Laura Mercier powder is finely milled. The Urban Decay Ultra Skin, what is it called? The Ultra Skin, right, loose powder, finely milled, but for me, they feel kind of like silica powder, and they slip too much, and I don't, it really airbrushes your skin and blurs it, but I prefer the feel of this one. It's still finely milled, still really smooth, and just it gives you a blurring effect to your skin. The shade Mountain is like perfect for my skin tone, and I use it with a damp beauty blender. So I'll dampen my beauty blender, this one I just used, pounce it in the powder, and then pounce it over my skin, and that takes away any powdery finish. Not that it's powdery, but it just works so well with a damp beauty blender. You pounce it in, set your makeup, you look flawless, flawless. And in case you guys are wondering, it's the same texture as the light reflecting setting powder, the translucent crystal. They're the same texture, like they have the same similar feel. This powder, everything. And then surprisingly, I found a drugstore powder that I was really all about, okay? And I did a couple of drugstore foundation reviews and stuff, and this powder, when I discovered it, this came out 2015 too. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Powder. It says 16-hour powder. This is the shade 600 Golden Beige, and the actual foundations versus the powders are different shades, but this one is beautiful and it's really cheap. How much is this one? I'm not too sure about the price of this one. I didn't put it down there, but oh my god, such a great powder that you can find at the drugstore for oily skin. It sets foundation. It's really finely milled. Again, it doesn't give you that powdery finish, cakey finish. It's just really smooth, great for touch-ups. It's just a really good powder, and it does keep your skin matte, but not like powdery matte, like a very natural matte. So those powders like blew it out the park for me. Now let's talk about foundation. Since we're talking about so many skin things, there are a couple of products that I really loved as well for foundation. And the first one is one that I loved last year, I think. Not just last year, 2014 I mean. The Nude Air foundation from Dior. Now, let's put it out there, these are expensive. Okay, and I had to get two shades to mix. I have shade 40 and 50, and I mixed them because 50 is of course too dark, and then 40 is too light, so I have to mix it to get in between. But they're a serum foundation, and a serum foundation is a very lightweight, very liquidy product, and you'll see them. You have the Nars Fluid, they had one. A couple of other brands have them, but this one took the cake for me. So good. It's so lightweight. It feels so good on the skin. It's airbrush finish. It's just, I love these. Now, I don't recommend anybody really go and do what I did and got two shades. If you can't find your shade, just, it's up to you. But I love them. I love them. And then another product that I ended up loving was the Marc Jacobs Full Coverage It's the Remarkable Full Cover Foundation. Again, I got two shades. And there has been some controversy about these products or these shades. They released a full range, and they only had two dark colors, which is like, really, Marc Jacobs, I saw you live. I saw you live, you stay bad with the dark skin girls. But to their credit, I'll say this. Don't jump on me yet. To make dark foundations and dark tones is difficult because you have to get the balance of orange and red, and it can oxidize and it can get ashen and all that stuff. So to make the shades take a little bit more effort than, say, making a really light shade. So I'll give them that. That's an inch. You don't get a mile, because they should have spent the time, the energy, and the money to research and develop the shades for darker skin tones. So Marc Jacobs, you're getting an F for that, because I feel some type of way that my girls aren't included, because I found my shade. but my shade is the darkest shade. Or, well, the darkest shade is the 84 Cocoa. No, they have a Cocoa Dark? I don't know. This is the 84 Cocoa Medium, and then the 82 Cocoa Light. And I mixed these two. My dark skin girls are left out, and this is a really good formula, so I feel some type of way. I feel some type of way. But we're going to put that out there and then let that linger a bit. Hopefully somebody's listening. But the Cocoa Light, people have been complaining about this. The Cocoa Light, people have been saying they get ashy or it gets a gray tinge around the mouth area. What you need to do when you have dark areas around your, oh God, did I just get lipstick everywhere? No. So I have a darker outline around my lips, and I do have to correct it with orange corrector with this foundation by itself. So when I'm lighter, I use the 82 Cocoa Light by itself. But I did, and I have, and it wasn't really a problem for me because I just used the corrector. But then I realized, hey, that may be a problem for other people. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and use an orange or peach tone corrector if you're gonna use this shade specifically and you have a dark outline around your lips. Now, what I did is I went ahead and got the 84 Cocoa Medium. So it's a darker shade, and I mix the two, and I don't have to use a corrector. So this one kind of counteracts the ashiness of this one, which again, I don't recommend you do because I'm just that person that will use if I like a formula, I'm going to get the two shades because it's like getting two foundations anyway and just mixing them because I'm going to get two. It's not like I'm wasting one. I'm using both of them. And the Cocoa Light can be a little bit too light for me, I realized on my hairline. So I got the dark anyway because I was mixing it. But then when I use them together, I had no issues. And then when I used this by itself, I realized it. And that's how I realized the gray cast, because with them together, I don't have that. So it's one of those things because I really love this formula and I love the coverage. It's full coverage with a little bit of product, and it feels lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy and cakey and ugly. Ugly, but it looks flawless. Like you want full beat, flawless skin. That's it. There it is. Now another drugstore product that I fell in love with is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me Foundation. Now backstory, I used the Fit Me foundation, the original formula, and it was a hot, greasy, frying chicken mess. I looked like a damn fool with that foundation on. Then they came out with the Matte and Poreless, and I'm like, you trying it. You are trying it. I'm gonna try it. So I got it, and I love it. And so Maybelline dropped the mic and walked out and left me like, huh? So they stepped up to the plate, got us a matte version, and it's perfect. And the only problem is it doesn't have a pump, which irks me, but for $6.99 or less, I think it's even less than $5.99, I don't care. And I have recommended this to other people. Like my best friend came to spend some time with us in September. Was it September? Yeah. She was like, I don't know, I want foundation, I went, we got this for her. This shade specifically, which is Coconut. And I think they expanded their range. They have a couple more dark shades too, so definitely check them out. Maybelline, yeah, do the thing. I got this, I got her this, and then I got her the Marc Jacobs full cover. That's what I recommended. So you know, if I'm telling my best friend, forget it. I'm not gonna do the same thing for now. Just so the thing stay. So the thing stay. Now let's move on to eyeshadows. Single eyeshadows. I think it goes without saying. My Makeup Forever eyeshadows. Artist eyeshadows. I did a full video. I did a full swatch video for these. There's not much to say. I have so many of them. And someone did ask me, and someone that really is supportive here on my channel, she requested that I do a video showing my favorite shades from them and like a starter kit, and that I am going to do. I think it was Kay that asked me to do that. Was it you, Kay? May have been Kay. So I am doing that. I am going to do that because there are a lot of shades to navigate, and I think I can do a starter kit because I have so many of them that I can recommend shades for you guys. And I do have a blog post. I do have a video on these. I'll link those below. Well, if I remember. I'll try to link those below so you can check them out. But it's a great reference video. Just check out the shades and see if they're shades that you personally like versus me telling you what I like. So just check that out. And then the not Makeup Forever, the MAC Extra Dimension eyeshadows. Are these even available? I'm just mentioning, I hope they're available. If not, sorry. But these were just really good eyeshadows. Like this formula, it's a more expensive formula from MAC, but they're so smooth and silky, and they're just really great for everyday looks. And they had very neutral shades that came out, very wearable shades. I love these, and I'm sorry if I'm mentioning them and they're limited edition, so we'll just move on. Loved those. And then another thing that I know was limited edition, but I still have to mention, were the color drenched pigments. This was from what line? What collection was that? I forget the collection, but this collection with the extra dimension skin finishes that everybody would died over. The eyeshadows were phenomenal as well. So I'll just mention those. Those are my favorites. But another one that's close in the running, but I haven't had enough chance to play with them, would be the Kat Von D Single Eyeshadows. I haven't had a lot of chance to play with these because I stayed away because they're pricey and it's Kat Von D, and I'm like, what? You know? And I love my Makeup Forever eyeshadows so much that I stayed away from the Kat Von D ones, but they are coming up. They might be mentioned later on in this year for really, I'm gonna do a swatch video for those. Stay tuned, there's a swatch video. I'm gonna swatch those and just let you make your own mind up. But those are a contender this year. Not necessarily for next year, I mean for last year, because I just got them. So those are my eyeshadows, and we're gonna jump into the eyeshadow palettes since eyeshadows, let's just keep with that. And the eyeshadow palettes that I really love this year, and eyeshadow palettes are not really my, like I don't get every eyeshadow palette because I'll go and swatch them and be like, wow, the colors are blah, or they're not up my alley, or I don't care the formula, blah, 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 blah. But I did get some really good palettes this year, and I think you guys can probably guess too. The Lorac Unzipped palettes. Now I have the Unzipped Gold and the original. Listen, I did reviews for these. I will link them. I did looks. Listen. The Unzipped Gold, which is funny because the Unzipped Gold is not in the gold packaging, but listen, these shades, love these so much. And I think the formula in these are so much better than the Pro palettes from Lorac. These are just, if you like more pinky hues, go with the original. If you like more golden bronzy hues, go with the gold. Go with the gold. The gold is my favorite one, but I love both of them. So the gold is just a little bit better for my golden skin tone. So love those. And another one that I mentioned is the Urban Decay Smoky palette. And I got, this is actually a new one. I ended up with 3 of these. How? I don't know. I ended up having 3 of these. Don't ask me any questions. Just don't ask me any questions. So I had to return one, and then I still have 2. So this is a newer one. It might not look used because I returned a used one. Shh. But this, I love this palette. Like, this is my favorite naked palette. Urban Decay has really nice palettes. They're fun palettes. They're good palettes, but their eyeshadows in their palettes are not always the best as far as fallout goes, and like they're very loose. But these were more along the line of satin shades and matte shades. These are satin and matte, and I think this, just because of the shade and the texture selection in this palette, this is why I love this so much more. And they weren't overly frosted like a couple of their other palettes, the naked palettes, they have some really shiny, shimmery, high frost shades. And I'm not necessarily in the market for high frost shades because I don't think they're necessarily flattering on the majority of people, and on more mature skin too, and creasy lids, because I have creasy lids. I tend to stay away from overly high frosty shades, and high frosty shades are not that wearable. So the Smoky palette from Urban Decay, yes ma'am. And then I did a swatch video recently for the Viseart palettes, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, do you like them more than the Makeup Forever eyeshadows? No, I don't. I like them almost as much. I probably like them as much. I think they're very good eyeshadows. The pigmentation, the color payoff, how they blend on the eyes, the fallout, like, I love their matte shades. The shimmery shades that have glitter in them. Not my cup of tea, but I'll do a full review for you guys. But I will tell you right now, the Dark Mattes palette, it's just such a beautiful palette. If you like these kind of tones, phenomenal palette. Just, I love that palette. And then I did a tutorial with the Editorial Brights, and I love bright shades, and these work so freaking well without getting dark and deepening up and losing intensity. Like, they work so well, and they're like wearable brights because they're not too, shut up, they are, all right, I'll just shut up. They're bright. But those two palettes, and these are mattes. So I love the matte formula. Not necessarily the shimmery fallout glitter shades, but those are the eyeshadows in my lineup. Now let's move on to highlighters. Oh, highlighters. Oh, highlighters. So 2015 was pretty much the year for highlighters. Like, everybody and their mother, any brand, everybody was making highlighters and contour shades, but mostly highlighters. Like, the year before, 2014, was contour. Last year was highlighters. Even though there were a lot of contour products still, but it was the year of highlighters and liquid lipsticks. Just everybody and their mother make it. But my highlighter that came out that said, "Hi there, miss, how are you?" was the Shaft of Gold Extra Dimension Skinfinish. Oh, this came out with the same collection as those color drenched pigments. So it was limited edition. We won't dwell on it. Just beautiful. Leave it at that. We won't dwell on that, but it came and it saw and it conquered, and like, I want to use it in all my videos, but I can't because it's limited edition, so I don't want people to get mad at me. And then another highlighter, let me grab my highlighter thing. Another highlighter that I love that is permanent and is available is the Becca Shimmer and Skin Perfector. Now, I know everybody loves Shimmer and Skin Perfectors. They're so great. I am not the biggest fan of the majority of the shades because they're too shimmery and too intense. However, the Opal shade, I think, is the most universal. It's the most workable. Like, this one you can make subtle, you can make it more intense, you can use it on the eyes. I think this guy, it's great. It's a great highlighter. And I mean, Becca is here for the highlights, okay? They are here. And I think Opal is just my favorite from that, just completely. And then I must mention the Anastasia Beverly Hills Illuminators. Now, these are like an in-between. They're in between a very subtle highlight and then the Becca highlights. So if you want an in-between, listen. And all the shades are really nice. I got all 4 shades that they have available. Where are my other ones? Oh, they're still in here. Okay, so the shades that I personally love, and I'll show you right now. I love the Riviera shade, which is more of this like rose gold shade, and the Peach Nectar, which is more of the peachy shade. Even though I love all of them, I even like Pure Hollywood, So Hollywood, which is more of a yellow gold, like a light yellow gold. They work really nicely. I even got the Starlight one, which did I even show you guys this? Where am I going with this pretty much pearl white highlight? I don't know where I'm going. And it is like a pearl white. I don't even know what I was thinking, but because of the formula, I can use these on the inner tear duct. You see this? Where am I going? But if you use it on the inner tear duct or you blend it out really well, it's not a bad product at all, even though the shade is really not for me. It's not for me. I don't know what I'm do with it. Fast, enough. I'm just gonna go with that. So those are my highlighters of choice. And then I have one bronzer that I want to mention. That's an actual bronzer, and that is the Hourglass Radiant Bronze Light. Hourglass, again, does really great face products, and their bronzer that they came out with now, this is not, I think Hourglass does subtle. Becca does intense, crazy, shine the spotlight on me, crazy. And then Hourglass does subtle, wearable, more for the, you know, the people that have a more, a love for subtle and just want to look like, oh, I'm natural, but I'm really cute. They came out with bronzers. There are 2 shades. This is the deeper of the 2. And this one adds a really beautiful bronzy glow. Now for bronzer, it's all about the glow and all about giving yourself this sun-kissed look. And this one gives this bronzy golden look to your skin. It's just really, really, really phenomenal. So I absolutely love that. Now let's talk about blushes. And my blushes that I fell in love with, I had 2 formulas that I fell in love with. I still have formulas from, I have shades from MAC that are just my go-to, and even Tarte, the Amazonian clay blushes. Some of those are my all-time favorites. But a blush formula came out last year, or I discovered last year, that was just awesome. And those are the Baked Gelato Vivid Swirl blushes from Laura Geller. And I discovered these because everybody was going crazy about the Gilded Honey highlighter from the same company and having the same formula. They're baked products. But the blushes, no one talks about the blushes. The blushes, let me tell you right now, just go get Papaya, which was my favorite. This one is my favorite. It's a peachy, like a peachy, it looks almost like a peachy red. I want to go with, but it's like a watermelon shade. Do you see it? It's like a corally red watermelon shade. So good. Papaya, I'm telling you right now, just shut up and go get it. I keep telling you to shut up. Don't come at me in the comments and get insulted. Just don't even talk to me. Go and get this. Papaya is heaven, and then guava. These 2. See, guava is more pinky, papaya is more peachy. Oh, love these. These just take the cake for me. They were my favorite blush formula, and I think more people need to talk about them because they are phenomenal. They also have a plumberry, which is more of a deep plum for darker skin tones. I think this is, I'm actually wearing it right now. Blend it out really, it's pigmented as all get out. So use very light, very little, blend it out. And then I have Rose Water, which is a lighter shade, but those, let me tell you. And then I also discovered the Becca Mineral blushes. And I'll mention these briefly because they are a great blush, and it's one that I discovered, and they were among my favorites. I used them a lot during 2015. And I have, my favorite shade from them is Songbird. And I know Songbird is like, what? It's a very neutral blush. It gives you a very natural flush to the skin, and it has a little bit of shimmer to it. So it's a really natural everyday blush. And this was an everyday blush for me in 2015 when I discovered it. I used it a lot and really love it. And then 2 other shades that I have Hyacinth, which is a bright ass fuchsia pink. It's a purpley pink. It's like a deeper shade, intense, but this is good for darker skin tones. Use very little. They're pigmented again, but they're mineralized, so they, not mineralized, they're mineral, so they're like a finely milled powder. They blend really nice. And then this bright ass one is Lantana, which is an intense bright, like orange red. Again, great for deeper skin tones because of this, the actual shade. So those were my blushes. And then I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Let's talk about lips. I'm almost done, guys. Like I'm trying to move through this. It's gonna be a long video. I already knew that, but lips. You guys already know the tinting oils. I love these so much. These are from YSL. They're the tinting oils. They're not a lip gloss. They're an oil product, like a lip oil. They're very thin, but what they do to your lips, apply a lipstick, do what you do, apply a little bit of this over that. I'm just gonna leave that there. It doesn't plump the lips, but it fills in the lines, and I have very liney lips. It fills in the lines, so my pout looks so full and just voluptuous and just juicy. They look juicy without being sticky, without being too glossy and gloppy, and it doesn't, like, you know how you wear gloss and then sometimes it settles and it just gets a mess by like 6 hours in? This doesn't do this. This just Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And the shade that I would recommend everybody get without a question is number 6, which is, it doesn't say what, it's number 6. Number 6. This is the peach. Love me peach, peach love me, love peach, peach, peach. It's peach. That one. The other ones, it depends on the shade that you're going for to match your different lip colors. I have how many of them? I have 5 of them. How many are there? I have 5. I think there's another one that I didn't like that I took back, but I have 5. Number 6 is the one that I would recommend without hesitation. I also love this red toned one if you're into more red toned lips. This one is shade number 5. And then there's a more pinky one, which is also beautiful. This one is shade number 8, but number 6 is the one that I would recommend without hesitation. The Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipsticks. I mentioned these last year. Those were the ones that I was most in love with. And this year, they are still the ones that I am most in love with. And they debuted a couple more shades. Like, y'all don't understand. I have all of them. And I did swatches for all of them. Like, you... I have everything. I have all of them. And just, there were some new shades that came out that I absolutely fell in love with. Double Dare is one of them. And Bow and Arrow, because I mixed this to get a really beautiful nude. But the liquid lipsticks, like I said, last year was the year for liquid lipsticks. Everybody and their mother come out with liquid lipsticks. And the Kat Von D ones still take the cake for me. I also discovered the Colored Rain liquid lipsticks, and I did a review for these as well. Let me just grab them. Here they are. I have more shades. I have 5 more shades over there, but I love this range as well. They're one of the best liquid lipsticks in the indie market, and they're not overly expensive. I think they're $16 versus $20, and you can get 10% off with a coupon code. The only one that let me tell you, Cherry Blossom, I was recommended this after I did my swatch video, and everybody was like, check out Cherry Blossom. It's like a perfect red versus Vanity Rain, because I was like, Vanity Rain is pretty, but whatever. Cherry Blossom is so pretty, but this one flakes. This one specifically flakes. The other ones I haven't had flaking issues with. This one flakes off. And I was so mad because the color is so beautiful. It's a deep, rich blood red. I just add a little bit of gloss in the center to keep it from flaking. And I know that defeats the matte look, but the color is so freaking great that I'll live with it. You know what I mean? But the other shades, the neutral shades, really good. I'll try to link my video as well so you can check those out. But those were, again, another favorite of mine. And then something that I didn't mention a lot, 2 lipstick formulas. One of them you can probably guess, but the Marc Jacobs lipsticks, the new nudes, I love these. The Role Play shade and the Eat Cake shade. Love these so much. They got worn out. This is the Role Play one, and they're similar shades, but they were so good for me in the summertime and springtime. And putting a little bit of this with a little bit of the tinting oil, it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful things. So this one, more of a corally pink. This one is more of a rosy pink. Love those. And another formula that I fell in love with were the Urban Decay lipsticks. They debuted a few shades. They have this new packaging. They did mattes and like a cream one. Yeah. This shade is Carnal. This is such a beautiful nude. I need to do swatches of these for you guys because I got them, I've worn them, I've been loving them, but I haven't really mentioned them. And not a lot of people have mentioned them. This one is matte. This is a matte one, Carnal. They're so beautiful. Like, they really, really beautiful. I love those. And really quickly, I'll just mention the eyeliners that kind of rocked my boat last year. I love the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Perversion. This is a matte rich black, and this was my water liner of life. It was just, it did everything for me in 2015, and I used a lot of it, and I still have a lot left. So it's a really good eyeliner. It lasts really long on the waterline, just top notch. And then a liquid liner that I discovered through my friend. She mentioned this, Jessica mentioned this to me, and I said, what? Let me go check it out. It is the Sephora collection again that you guys are sleeping on. It is the Long Lasting Eyeliner. They have two of these. They have the High Precision Eyeliner, which has a brush type applicator, and then they have the Long Lasting Eyeliner, which has a felt tip applicator, and I prefer the felt tip one, but the formula is the same, as just the brush, the applicators are different. So depending on what you prefer, I prefer this one, but you might prefer the brush one. This guy has held up. It's a rich black, but what I love about it is that it's a matte black. It doesn't leave a shiny finish. It doesn't leave a glossy finish. It's a matte black, and I prefer that. If I'm gonna do liquid liner, which I haven't done a lot of, if you guys realize, I have not done liquid liner and winged eyeliner a lot, but if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be a matte one. And that one, I'm so happy I discovered that Jessica let me know, and I'm like, oh, me. And then let's mention a couple of my brushes that I fell in love with. The Tarte Powder Player Bamboo Pressed Powder Brush. I mentioned this in so many of my videos. I use this to set my foundation, kind of like this, pounce it over my skin. This is for loose powder. It's the Powder Player. Now I know the name, and I'm gonna remember the name next time. It's the Powder Player Bamboo Brush. It's a large brush. It's great for bronzer, for powder. Just an all-around fabulous brush. Fabulous. It's a fabulous. And then the Marc Jacobs The Face 3 Buffin Foundation Brush. Listen, I don't use any other brush for my foundation. This one takes the cake. It's just everything. It's just hands down my favorite foundation brush, and it works for the majority of foundations. And it's large, so it just buffs everything in. It's just fantastic. And then another brush from Marc Jacobs is the Shape brush, and this came out with the contour powder. I grabbed it and I love it for contour. It is so on point. It is so amazing. It was my favorite, one of my favorite brushes of all time. And then the last one I'll mention is my Inglot 4SS brush. This is great for detailed contour work. It's like a very large blending eyeshadow brush, but it's so large that it's not really good for eyeshadow, but it's really good for detailed contouring, detailed highlighting. It can even do contouring on the jawline. It's just, this brush from Inglot doesn't get a lot of love anymore. Like, it came in, got a lot of love, and then fizzled out. But this brush, the 4SS brush, phenomenal. And that's gonna wrap up, that's kind of the final thing I'm gonna mention in my favorites. And that is going to wrap it up. I know it's been a really long video, but you know I can talk, and I think you guys are okay with that. And most people grab a snack when they see the timestamp. They're like, I'm grabbing a snack, a drink, and we're gonna go through it. But hopefully this video was enjoyable for you guys. My list is done. I have accomplished doing this video for you guys. I'm snowed in right now, so it's like the perfect time to do this video. Thank you guys so much for your support last year and for the years to come. Hopefully you guys still want me around, because I am around as long as you guys want me around. So thank you guys for your support and being so awesome, and just being so supportive and commenting really great things and helping each other out. Like, I really love what we have here on YouTube and on Instagram, on Twitter. I just really like this interaction that I have with you guys. So thank you guys again, and I'm gonna sign out now. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.